Hey everyone, welcome back to Milwaukee Uncut. If you love live music and festivals and you live in or around the Milwaukee area, this is a great one for you. Alan Halas from Breaking and Entering and OnMilwaukee is going to let you in on what festivals to go to, what free live music spots are around this summer, and artists to watch in Milwaukee. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Milwaukee Uncut. We've got Alan Halas here. He is a lot of things over at OnMilwaukee. Content machine among others.
It's a good way to put it.
What is your formal title there?
My formal title is business development, but I write about music and then I work on all of the back end side of OnMilwaukee as well too. I'm just around. I do stuff. You are
around a lot. You do a lot of stuff over there, and you've just come out with a summer festival guide and a free live music guide.
Yep. Yeah, so there is music happening just about every single day of the week in Milwaukee. Free concert series all over the city. So yeah.
So for those of you music lovers in or around Milwaukee, this episode is for you because we've got an expert here today. For those of you who do not know Alan, among all he does over at OnMilwaukee is also the founder of Breaking and Entering Milwaukee.
Yep.
Another guide to Milwaukee's music scene.
Yeah.
The host of Love Local Radio on 102.1.
Yeah.
Host of the Hustling Sideways podcast, and had his own viral single that released last June. Coming right up on a year, absolutely blew up on TikTok. I know got several million views on Instagram.
Yeah, we're
out of
closing
nowhere
in.
From the clouds. Just a nice video of you driving over the Hone Bridge. So we'll get into that a little bit too. But again, if you like music and you live around Milwaukee, this is going to be a good one for you, Alan. We'll let you know everything going on that you can look forward to this summer. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. This is great. Love it.
Yes. So what is your quick background and how'd you get into the Milwaukee music scene?
Okay, so the long story short, very short, is I used to produce music. I was always like interested in being in bands and stuff, and I just never really had people around other in like my neighborhood. So it was like me and one of my best friends, and we would play in bands. That eventually led into like me producing hip hop like years and years and years ago.
Did you grow up here?
Yep, grew up on the south side of Milwaukee.
You started producing hip hop from the south side of Milwaukee.
Yeah. So, and this was like the MySpace days. So I was connecting with artists that way. And from there.
So you would have been young.
Yes.
Because I know I'm 37. You're a few years younger than
34,
me, right? 34.
Yeah.
So the MySpace days, what were you like? Middle school, high school?
Yeah, this would have been about then, like early high school, probably. Yeah. And so I was producing hip hop for a cousin who was making music, and then eventually was trying to like branch out to other artists. And from there, really got to know the music scene, even though I wasn't like old enough to get into most of the shows.
No, not even close.
Yeah, it wasn't until I got into college that I could even like get into shows. So then from there, like it really started, Breaking and Entering started with me and a friend from high school saying that we were going to have a podcast. This is 2009. If we would have stuck with it, who would have known, right? And then we turned that into a student radio show, which ultimately turned into a website, which led me into writing about music, which is what I do now. But I always had the website I've really been doing daily content on that site from 2014 onward. Mm-hmm. And that introduced me to previous employers that led me to OnMilwaukee too. So, yeah.
And then you have all that going on now. Are you still producing music at all?
No, thank God, no.
I just do some yourself.
Yeah. So okay. So the song that blew up.
Or was that just a one-off? You just hopped on and then dropped the mic?
Entirely a one-off thing that I made this thing. I didn't sing it. I made this thing like for a TikTok video and totally thought that it was just going to be like this one time, like I'll post it. Literally was on my way to the gym and was just writing about me like, man, I really don't want to go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Like just messing around with it. Posted it, went to the gym. And by the time that I came back from the gym, it already had like 100,000 plays. And I was like, what is happening? Because like the algorithm just caught and like enough people commented on it. I think probably in like the first half hour or whatever that like TikTok pushed it. And then the Instagram one the next day was like 100,000 and then like 200,000. And then I like really, really quickly was like, oh my God. And people were like, can you put this song out? Like, where's the full song? So then I had to make a full song because I didn't have one. So I put a second verse on it and then put it out on Bandcamp and people started buying it like Like all in that course of time, I learned all about like the fast track. Even though I wrote about music and artists, like I learned the fast track of like how long it takes to get your song onto Spotify and how to get it onto, just different streaming platforms. And called a friend who was a music administrator, Ishel White, and I was like, Ishel, I need help like with music administration right now, because it was just a thing that the video blew up. And it's near 7 million plays on Instagram, and I've been waiting till it hits. It's like 6.9 million and change. We're like 40,000 away from it, and I'm like every time. But it was just like person sharing it to their story at one after another, and you can see all the stories you're tagged in. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there like I'm in this guy's story, and this one, and this one, and this one. And I was like, what is happening over the course of like a weekend? So
and then you because of that, you were out in New York not too long ago.
So, okay, Richie, I'm going to get you on this one. That was an April Fool's joke. It was
on April Fool's.
Yeah.
But you do have it coming out is something coming out this fall?
No, there's not.
Okay,
sorry.
we can edit that out.
Oh no, we're keeping that. We got to keep that.
Okay. Okay, so you've got me for about the last 2 months. Since that was 2 months ago.
I happened to be flying for work to a conference on April 1st. And I had the song that had blown up the year before. Yeah. So I was like, people will believe, like, if I put this out there that I was going out to New York for like label business.
Like me.
Yeah. And you even texted me, and I was like, thanks, man. Like,
I did text you.
I kept it for the day of, like the entire day of. I didn't tell anybody that it was at April Fool's. And
then you forgot to text me back April Fool's the next day. You just kept it going.
Well, even like a friend of mine that works in like the music industry and lives in New York, like we went out for some drinks, and she was like, congratulations, I just saw that you got signed. And I was like, the thing about that is I had to tell her first. But yeah, it was very much like, it was like the right place at the right time that I was like, people are going to believe that I went to New York to get signed. And I didn't.
That was way more believable than the 30-ish headlines you guys put out on Milwaukee of just absurd stuff happening around the city on April 1st.
I like to try and keep it believable. One year I said that breaking and entering.
Sony didn't reach out after and was like, "Oh, you can pop up here." Actually,
would have been great. My plan was to take a picture in front of the Sony office.
Yeah.
And then just time fell apart that I couldn't do it. So I took a picture in front of the Live Nation office billboard that happened to be on my way to the conference, and that was what I posted. That's not even indoors. That's not even in their hallway. That's out in front of their office, and like. A ton of people reached out and was like, "Oh my God, congratulations!" But not even indoors. I just walked in front of a billboard that had Beyonce on it and took a picture really quick.
The song was called "Artificial," right?
Yeah, the one that's the big single is "Cardiac Arrest is Only a Misdemeanor," and that was like an ode to all the old, like, I'm from that emo kid era of how like Fall Out Boy had crazy long song titles that didn't really mean anything. So it's like an ode to that kind of thing. So, which makes it impossible to find on streaming to search for. It doesn't make any sense. I just named it something on the fly, and
Is anything happening with the song, or is it just out there now?
Well, now it's just kind of out there, and accumulating plays and stuff. Like, I really haven't looked until like recently of like getting royalties for some of that, like. Because I'm like, whatever it gets, it gets. It's totally just a weird side mission that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever it gets, it gets. But now I'm like, should I be getting money for all those Instagram plays? So within like recent weeks, I was like, should I look it up?
Money from Instagram.
I would like to get money.
Good luck.
Literally, Spotify will pay you, for those that don't know, Spotify pays 0.0003 cents per stream. That is the rate. So you got to play a song 3 times to even earn a penny on Spotify. Instagram, I just found out
300 plays, you get $1.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So Instagram is even worse. I just saw that it's like 0.6016 or something like that is the rate for getting one play on Instagram. So like, I don't even know the math of how far down.
Are wild how little amount of money you get from those platforms.
Yeah. So, I mean, like...
Because people ask us how we make money on Milwaukee Uncut, and it's like all brand deals, brands that want to be a part of our content, essentially.
Sure.
And they think, because I'll post our numbers sometimes, and we're getting like 3 to 5 million views a month on the
that
show.
immediately translates to thousands of dollars.
Zero. Like
Yeah.
I think we got like 12 cents from Facebook once. I don't think we got it, but it like showed we earned.
I think I
12
did the
cents
math
or something.
Yeah, I think I did the math on 7 million plays on Instagram, and if the numbers that I saw are right, I think I'm getting like $2.60 or something crazy like that. So go Instagram.
I was going to mention a place you could get lunch for that, but I can't think
No,
of
there's
anything.
nothing.
I can't think of anything right now, but it's still cool to get that many plays. I like all the people interacting with it and stuff. That's so much
it
fun
was
to see.
it was definitely fun for like the moment.
It struck a chord.
Yeah.
With clearly a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it
7-ish
definitely
million of them.
for that weekend to be like, what is happening? Like, how big is this gonna get? Like,
Yeah.
for sure. Because you don't know. It's like literally like watching a jackpot go up. If you're like,
For sure.
you're like, where does this stop? Like, you know.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's segue over into summer in Milwaukee. What are you most looking forward to?
Oh, it's festival season. I love it. I do it every year. Basically, I am at Summerfest every night for all 9 nights that it is now. I used to do all 11 nights when they had an 11-night run.
Are you there like till it shuts down?
Basically, I'll get in later in the day. I'm not there like open to close. So I'll usually get there around 7 or 8-ish and be there till it closes. Because I'm usually seeing a 10 o'clock headliner each one of those nights and then writing a review for OnMilwaukee, and I'll post it the next morning. So it's a lot of, figuring out how to do it efficiently, for sure.
Do you see the headliner? I mean, those end at like midnight. You're
Yep.
out of there around midnight. Then do you go home, write the review while you're still kind of like
There was
wired from the show a little bit? Or
There was
do
a
you get up
time.
early and do it?
Yeah, there was a time that I used to do it. Now I get up really early and do it. My wife's a CrossFit trainer, and so she gets up crazy early in the morning. So that gives me time to like write when it's, she'll get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning to go out and train. And I will just take that little bit of gap where nobody in the world is doing anything, and I'll quickly write my review from the night before. So, but figuring out how to efficiently do like, how do you shuttle in there? And because you're still, you're spending money to go all the way down there every night of the, for 9 straight nights.
Yeah, it's
So,
just chaos down there at those times, especially since they moved everything to the weekend. I feel.
yep. Yeah.
Which I think was a good move on Summerfest part.
Yeah, I think it needed to be, well, from a booking standpoint. We're not the people that run it, obviously, but from the booking standpoint, I think it makes more sense to do it because festivals in general have blown up so much that there is a similar thing to Summerfest in different parts of the country every weekend now. Like there's a festival in like Delaware that is like a week before Summerfest. That used to be like, if they were coming to that one, you could kind of predict that they would be at Summerfest too, because that would be like the routing for it. But now they're all over the place. And like Summerfest is at the same time as a couple festivals in Europe that are big ones. So if people ever are like, why couldn't they get so-and-so to play Summerfest? It's either because they're at another festival somewhere in the country or they're over in Europe for sure. So from a booking standpoint, doing 3 weekends makes a ton of sense because now you have more people that are just available to get. If we can't get them this weekend, we're going to get them, week 2 or 3. So yeah, it's that is the inside baseball part of it for sure. But
Anything you're looking most forward to regarding Summerfest this year?
yeah, some of the shows in the amphitheater I think are going to be great. I think The Killers is going to do really, really well this year. That's one that's on my list for sure. I think Benson Boone is going to be like surprisingly huge. It's kind of like when they had Billie Eilish a few years ago where they caught the lightning in the bottle and caught the right artist at the right time. I think that's what Benson Boone is for sure going to be that night that he's there.
Is he in the amp?
Yeah, he's in the amphitheater.
Sometimes
Omens
they book those artists and then they pop off, but they're still on a smaller stage, and then it's
that's when it
out
gets
there.
absolutely crazy.
I think I was at maybe a Wiz Khalifa concert like 10 years ago.
You were
when
at the Harley Davidson one,
it
at
must
the
have
Harley
been.
stage at the
Yes.
time, yeah.
And they booked him, and I forget what hit came out, but
It was like
might have been
10,000.
Say Yeah or something like that came out in that window, and then
Yeah,
that was
it was
just
like 10,000
wild.
people at that thing. I was at the MGMT year that they were like way overcrowded, and I was definitely there the night that Imagine Dragons was like so busy that they stopped letting people in the gate. But I don't remember. Like I remember, I just couldn't get through the Miller Lite Oasis because there were so many people. So I think that some of the rap acts that they have this year are surprisingly going to do maybe not Wiz Khalifa level numbers, but like they have a huge slate of Milwaukee rap artists that are gonna draw a big crowd. Certified Trapper, Big Frank, Chicken P, like those are artists that are buzzing on like YouTube and on streaming. But I think when you see that real world transformation of that into like what a live crowd looks like for that, that's gonna be unreal. So watch for that this year.
Any favorite memories or craziest things that you've personally witnessed at Summerfest?
Craziest thing I've seen at Summerfest, I would probably say just big crowds. I don't really have anything particularly other than, I mean, that MGMT show that was overcrowded. It was the only time I ever called Summerfest security because I called because there was a girl in front of us that was definitely drunk and throwing up on my friend's shoes. And we were like, hey, man, like, please, ma'am, could you please move? And it just never happened. And we were like, well, she's just refusing to even like go get medical help. So I called and I was like, hey, you probably want to send somebody here because this is like a situation. And then as I'm standing on the bleacher calling, I was like, and you're probably going to want to send a second security person because I see a fight that just broke out over there, like over by the beer stand. And then I watched the security like walk and try to find where we were, and they couldn't. There's so many people there. So I'm sure that is not maybe an ideal one that Summerfest loves, but that's probably like the wildest show that I remember seeing there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Other festivals you're looking forward to, maybe some under the radar ones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, doing just all the amount of street festivals that are happening in Milwaukee as well, too, and like block parties that happen we have the big festivals that are happening right down at the lakefront, but then there's so many so many festivals that happen. Like in fall, I love Cactus Club's Beat Street. We're throwing our own block party. I'm helping throw a block party. The Catalano Square, the Catalano Beer Mixer. That's going to be in September.
Oh, nice.
So that's
right in the third ward right there.
Yeah, right in front of Club Charlie's. We did it last year as the first time as a block party. It used to be a concert series. But now it's a one-day block party that we did, and last year was so fun. And we had Funk Summit Bass Team who are coming back again as our headliner for that. We shut down the whole block. We have all the different third ward businesses come out as vendors for it, so it's really like a neighborhood street festival kind of thing, just in the middle of the third ward. So yeah, looking forward to that. As far as other festivals too, I mean, I just end up at so many things that I'm just like, yes, I'm going to that. I think that there's one in front of Bernhardt's that they do every year. I don't know if they're bringing that back this year though.
Yeah, Mitten Fest is in the summer. What's the
the summer version of Mitten Fest is, and I can't remember what it is, but it's usually during Summerfest.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
We went on that once. That was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good block party as well. Weirdly, like Bigfoot Bike and Skate has a lot of them too, and Sky High Skate Shop has like a block party every year, every summer. That's really fun to go to. From a music festival standpoint, though, I mean, I kind of have my setup is for sure Summerfest for 3 weeks, and then I have a week off this year, and then I'm going to Harley Davidson Homecoming, which I'm also looking forward to. I'm not the biggest country guy in the world, but I'll enjoy that. And then from then I take a week off and I'm at Lollapalooza, and then I'm at Riot Fest in September after that. So that's my summer for sure, are based around those.
And it's Bayview Bash.
Bayview Bash is in September as well. Yeah, too. I love Bayview Bash when I can get to it. It usually falls in line with Riot Fest now, but I love going to that. Oh, Brady Street Festival is great.
That's a good one.
Brady Street always has a great music lineup. Summer Solstice.
That's a poppin' day. You could just crawl down the bars on Brady Street. That's a fun Saturday. Is that in June or July?
I want to say July. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I used to live right off Brady Street. I don't know why I can't remember what that date.
And then Summer Solstice in June is a great festival too this year. They've got a huge lineup.
Right off North still.
Yep. Yeah. So they've got Nile playing that one. And I think Gold Steps is playing that one again this year. Like a huge lineup for Summer Solstice. I believe it's Jason from the Cooperage that actually puts that together, or is putting the music side of it together. He does a great job of tapping into the Milwaukee music scene and finding some really, really great artists and putting them on stage too. So.
You got State Fair in early August too. Any big acts coming there this year?
You want to go see Neo at State Fair this year? He's going to be there this year. I'm trying to think who else the State Fair lineup is.
They have a big country.
They do have, they've got one big country act that they went big on this year. Some retro R&B as well. There's the staples too of things like the Happy Together tour, which is like 60s like power pop groups like the Monkees and things like that are all in that. I cannot remember who the big R&B show is other than Neo is going to be there.
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men, that's another one. That's a big R&B show that's going to do well. I think they're back-to-back nights with Neo, right? Or close to.
They got Boys to Men, Neo, Bryce Vine.
Yes, Bryce Vine's going to be with Neo.
That's a good get. Mm-hmm. I like some of his tracks. Darius Rucker.
That's the big country show. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and there's like a
opened
metal
by Uncle Cracker.
Yeah. That's
and
the big country
Leonard
show.
Skinnard.
Mm-hmm. And there's a big metal show. It's Queensryche, Quiet Riot, and Great White. That's going to be at Summerfest or at State Fair too, as well. So
another good one.
Yeah.
In your very up, you just put together a guide for free live music.
Yeah.
Which is a little different than festivals. Usually more consistent. Something
Music
like
series.
Chill on the Hill in Bayview every Tuesday. That's a good one.
Yeah. That is my go-to one, is definitely Chill on the Hill, just because I live close and I can always go there. And it's Tuesday nights, so like you can't go wrong with that too. River
It's a good
Rhythms.
vibe. It is literally chill on a hill.
Yeah.
Grab a couple beers. There's some music going on.
Yeah, that one, River Rhythms is good. The one in Tosa at
Where's
Hart
River
Park.
Rhythm?
River Rhythms is downtown. It's a hard one to say. I think they're Wednesday nights.
I just messed it up. Okay.
They're a good one, and I mean they're pretty chill this year. No pun intended. Jazz in the Park is back this year, but they're doing every other week instead now, and it is slightly less jazz, and by that I mean like kind of no jazz at all.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna be over. I mean, on the east side. So, but it's gonna be every other week now that they're doing Jazz in the Park.
Without a ton of jazz music.
Not a lot. There's more like fusion and like I know there's a Latin night.
You got to keep the iconic brand of Jazz in the Park though, even if they're not playing jazz.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, my preferred one is definitely Chill on the Hill. But if you're driving there, don't drive there. If you can walk there for sure.
Yeah.
Bring your lawn chair, your blanket, all of that stuff.
What's the one at Hart Park in Tosa?
It's at the Tosa Band Shell at Hart Park. Tosa Tonight. That is the one that I'm thinking of. So they've got old 97s that are going to be there, which is a well-known, like nationally touring band that's going to be there. And they have a great Milwaukee band called Ladybird that's opening for them. That's kind of like Americana. 5 Card Studs are going to be there. Chicken Wire Empire is from Milwaukee. They're a bluegrass kind of band, but they've broken out and they tour internationally at this point too. But they kind of fly under the radar as far as like, I don't know how many people know that they're from Milwaukee that aren't like super tapped into Milwaukee music. And the Verve Pipe and Brett Newski are going to be there. That's going to be July 23rd. So they're another one that is a nationally like well-known act that just happens to be, playing Milwaukee and playing Tosa for a free show. So that's really cool too.
And then what's the one you like in River West?
The one in River West is Washington Park Wednesdays. So they have a really good lineup. It's at the Washington Park Band Shell. It's a huge, expansive area.
That is a very cool place.
Yeah, really cool setup for live music. And it's another one like Chill on the Hill where you can kind of show up, but there's bleachers. There's food trucks there for that. There's a lot that you can kind of just hang out and really just like enjoy the atmosphere of it all for sure.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And then as far as artists to watch,
yes.
Who are you looking at right now?
Man, there are so many artists across the different like genres of Milwaukee music.
Give us a variety.
Variety, okay. The ones that definitely jump out to me right from the start are there's a band called Diet Light from the East Side. They're an indie rock band, tons of energy on stage. They just opened for Jimmy Eat World at the Rave. Good dudes too, and they know how to really like capture a following. There's Social Sig, which is Parker Schultz. He's a singer-songwriter, kind of like surf rocky, but like very indie, a lot of energy. There's a band called Scam Likely that lives in Chicago now, but they're from Milwaukee originally. They know how to harness an audience. I actually booked them for a show in January. They were amazing. Those are just some of the rock ones. Like doing the rock show on Friday nights on 102.1 is definitely like brought me into that world a little bit more and finding more of those bands. There's another band, Well and Good, that's really awesome. On the hip hop side, like Milwaukee has two hip hop scenes essentially. There's like this very lyrical East Side kind of like artsy kind of hip hop scene. And then there's more of like this YouTube scene where like Summerfest is tapping into this year. That's going to have like Chicken P and Big Frank and Certified Trapper. Those are all like the more like YouTube-y, like doing really well on streaming. But from the artsy side, there's an artist named Mo City that like to me is one of the best rappers I think in Milwaukee right now in terms of just generally like a really cool flow. Everything that he does is like, he's like Mr. Groovy is a song that he has with my buddy Space Crime where he just like, he reminds me of Andre 3000 a lot. And I hear that there's like a Southern influence in how he raps. There's also Von Alexander, which reminds me of like that era of like Wiz Khalifa when, you know, you saw him at Summerfest, but like a little bit artsier and a little bit beyond that. Jay Lamo is an amazing performer too. Like there's, if you go down that rabbit hole, there's so many talented Milwaukee hip hop acts. So I've just actually too started hanging out with a lot of like the producers that, because I do a beat battle tournament in at the Wicked Hop in the 3rd Ward, and so getting to know some of those producers, there's people that are making amazing stuff that people just haven't been able to find yet, right? There's a producer named Yoshi that's in our tournament, and he has a studio downtown called Charlotte Studios. I was talking with him, and I was like, "So how many beats do you think you have that you're just like you haven't?" shown the world? And he's like, "Oh, there's at least 1,000 on my hard drive. Like just 1,000 ready to go songs just sitting on a hard drive that is super talented. And everything that he's put out so far has been amazing." So there's a young artist named Q the Ruler that is learning and building and growing himself. He's got a couple songs out that just have like naturally catchy hooks, things like that. So, I mean, like, once you start to go down that rabbit hole, like I said, there are so many talented artists in Milwaukee. You just got to know where to find them.
Is there anything that you would like to see change regarding the Milwaukee music scene?
Yeah, man, oof. Like it's definitely grown in the 10 plus years that I've covered it. So when I first started, there was a lot of like really separated, like the rock guys didn't talk to the hip hop guys, or like, there was a pocket, and I've always maintained Milwaukee music in general has just like this pocket of people over here and this pocket of people over here. But in recent years, and I think there's been a lot of different developments that have led to that, hopefully Breaking and Entering is one of them, and increased music coverage on Milwaukee and things like that are part of it. But it has started to meld together to the point where people are doing mixed genre shows now and people are discovering one another. So that's been really great. I just think that overall, I would love if there was some kind of way to get industry support back to Milwaukee. So there were things that were definitely in place, but then maybe the optics of it were great, but the logistics behind the scenes weren't necessarily there. So finding a way to bring all of those things, all this talent pool that I've been talking about that we have here, and to give them some actual like national support and say, this is how you should operate. This is how you should move professionally. I think that would be huge for the city. Would definitely help blow things out of the water for sure.
Very cool. Alan, thanks so much for coming on today. It was great having you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing me on and letting me babble about Milwaukee music. I'm so
very
good at that.
Very insightful. We appreciate it, and we'll have to have you back sometime this summer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just see me at festivals. Just say, hey, I'm around. I'll just be around. If there's a concert,
You'll be around Summerfest every night it's going on. You'll be around the other ones, so people can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can follow me too everywhere. It's just at Alan Halas.
And check out his song. Get that up to 7 million.
Yeah, we need to get there. We're
right there.
40,000 away.
We're right there.
There we go.